Jaco the Clown lives in a delusional world. Each Tuesday, also known as Jaco Tuesday, he is released from the safety of the Acme Mental Hospital in order to host his own podcast show, See My Mind. Welcome to the show.
Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to See My Mind, the greatest podcast in the world. I'm your host, Jaco. Well, I was just wrapping up this memo to the International Bowling Association on my memo machine, so please bear with me for just a moment. Let's see. Where was I? And furthermore, you are to forward my entire trophy collection and any uncashed earnings from my time on the professional bowling tour to my podcast studio immediately. Failure to do so will result in my climbing down somebody's throat and taking what is rightfully mine. Spoiler alert. It won't be pretty. Sincerely, Jaco. Bobby, pick that up and make sure it goes out in today's mail.
You got it, Jaco. Oh, by the way, Dr. Snedley wanted me to tell you that he's ready for the hypnosis segment now, since he said there's quite a bit to discuss.
Really? I can hardly wait to hear the line of questioning he has in store for me.
Jaco, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. We're going back in time now. Get comfortable and close your eyes, and when you hear the snap of my fingers, you'll be deep asleep but still able to hear my voice. And... now, Jaco, I want to take you back to your days in the symphony when you were a world-renowned triangle player.
The single most important notes in the performance of any symphonic piece are the notes I played on my triangle. You know, people don't realize that the ultimate use of the triangle is when it's anticipated but not even played. That's called respect.
Of all the instruments in the orchestra, how did you happen to choose the triangle?
Well, it's far more accurate to say that the triangle chose me.
How did it all start, Jaco?
I began as a triangle busker in the streets of Rio de Janeiro, playing an old horseshoe for kebabs and slices of papaya. From there, I attended a local triangle school where I learned how to play the samba. I jammed in blues clubs at night, to make ends meet.
I didn't realize that there was that much to learn about the triangle.
Don't kid yourself, Dr. Snedley. My triangle education had only just begun at that point. After triangle school, I earned a full-ride scholarship to Juilliard, where I learned advanced harmonic theory and sight reading. I studied by candlelight each evening until my eyes bled.
Did you graduate from Juilliard?
Yes, in fact. I was the valedictorian for my graduating class. Everyone wore little triangles on their caps in my honor.
Then what did you do?
Everything happened all at once after Juilliard. I became a member of the Berlin Philharmonic, as well as doing recording session work whenever I wasn't on stage in the concert halls. It was a glorious time.
You did recording sessions?
Hundreds of them. I was a first call triangulist. I also doubled on the bass triangle and on the trapezoid in order to book, more session dates.
Were all those recording sessions orchestra recordings?
No, only a few. Most of the work I did was on jazz and pop and rock records.
Those music styles have triangle in them?
Now you're just sounding ignorant and unhip. Of course they do. Have you ever heard The Tourist by Radiohead? It's the last note of the song, and I nailed it!
I had no idea.
Exactly.
I thought triangle players hardly ever played any notes at all.
There you go again, sounding like a musical buffoon. It's quality versus quantity, and I'm not at all sure you know what that means. The pressure to play that one note with perfect timing, perfect dynamics, perfect sensitivity is unbearable for most musicians. It tears them up. I relished it. I wallowed in it. That's why I was in such high demand with all the producers. Quincy and Foster couldn't get enough of me.
Are all triangles the same?
Of course not. My concert triangles were handmade for me in Luxembourg. They were made of cubic zirconia and covered with molten titanium. I could play 128th notes without breaking a sweat. I used to double the melody on Flight of the Bumblebee in front of live audiences while on tour with my trio. I was the fastest triangulist player in the world. Most people think I'm using 2 beaters. I never did. No need.
I had no idea, Jaco.
The Eagles opened for us on that particular tour. Don Henley would always, follow me around backstage like a little puppy. He wanted me to teach him to play, but I couldn't be bothered. I used every spare moment to prepare for what was later acknowledged as the pinnacle of my career, my solo albums.
You recorded solo albums playing just the triangle?
I most certainly did. 7 albums in total, if you count my Christmas album and my greatest hits album, which was a double album. All original compositions, except for the Christmas album, of course. My rendition of Silent Night was mesmerizing.
That's amazing. Do you consider your 7 solo albums to be your greatest achievement as a triangle player?
That, and the world tours I went on to promote them. Very memorable. Especially the Christmas concert in Athens. People openly wept.
That's just an amazing story, Jaco. Well, thank you for sharing it with me once again today. You created such a beautiful painting of your days as a triangle player, and I know you want to see it, so let's bring you back now. Okay, look deep into my eyes, and when I snap my fingers, you'll be on stage in your unveiling theater. And...
Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. Well, I'll never forget my days as a professional triangulist, playing the most important notes in each piece in all musical styles. Well, now it's time for me to pull the cord to reveal my masterpiece painting entitled The Triangle Player.
And so it was. Please stay tuned for next week's episode of See My Mind, entitled The Motivational Speaker, starring Jaco the Clown.